just barely catches it. Now Limon is going to try and overtake on Fonseca. Fonseca gives that one up, almost a little too wide there for Limon. Holds tough and sending it deep around the banking, and Shell Oil, he's going to take the spot back. Fonseca, that was a brilliant move. This is full drift here from the Japanese driver. Watch this. Unreal. That car should not be still going. That is just seat-of-your-pants stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just kind of landed a little bit wrong for him, but fortunately, at least pointed in the right direction. This was crazy, though.
And hasn't been shaken, but man, they see close to that wall.
Look at the oversteer. He looks to the inside. Michael tried to cover off. He's going to squeeze him down a little bit. Tries to open up the corner. Cut back and see if he can get the launch, and it's much quicker off. Oh, but he covers him down to the inside.
Oh my goodness, covers him down to the inside. I think there may have been a little bit of contact there, but Michael Johnson going to get the benefit of the draft here. You can see him closing down on the back of the 79. And there's the late move from Michael going down to the inside, trying to get into the braking zone.
The red mist is up for these two, and down into the braking. Can Johnson get it done? Yes, he does. Don't count out Travis. Tries to cut back. Goes the long way around. Nothing doing. No, he holds tight. He could try and get it in there. No, now he starts to fall back.
Starts to fall back. Going to try to send it a little bit on the outside of 15. Sometimes you can get a crossover there, but not going to work. He's going to have a wider line now into Turkey to try to carry a little bit more speed, but he's not going to find an easy way to try to get on by. And indeed, Michael Johnson just slides that car off the apex a little bit to prevent off any attack.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
Only 16 points separate our top three in the championship. After 7 rounds, they must decide today at the classic venue of Brands Hatch. Will the difficulty of this British favorite catch out one of our protagonists? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 8 of the RTA Virtual Motorsport British Touring Car Championship. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is SRO driver Michael Johnson. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Brands Hatch has been a haven for touring cars for a long, long time. But to find out who else has run here, why don't we head to our track guide. Welcome to Brands Hatch. When popular British racing circuits get listed, this track just to the southeast of London often finds itself near the top. The extensive history of the venue has meant that many famous names in racing have ran laps here. But the stats make it sound deceptively simple, with the Grand Prix and Indy course having 9 and 6 turns respectively. Laps might be short, but they're also fast, and the corners are often a challenge to get right. As you'd expect, that means passing is quite difficult, with most drivers leaning towards sending one up the inside at Druids. You might occasionally see overtakes into the first corner, Paddock Hill Bend, but the blind apex and gigantic drop in elevation make that an errand for only the brave. Many of the corner names pay tribute to famous British drivers from the past decades, such as Hill, Surtees, Sterling, and Clark. In fact, the fame extends beyond the drivers, but to the cars as well, with this place seeing everything from Formula 1 to Formula 4, touring cars, GT cars, motorcycles, and even rallycross. It's a gorgeously scenic venue where lush trees envelop the back half of the course, while the front half is mostly encapsulated inside a natural amphitheater. This makes it extremely popular with race fans who can see a majority of the circuit from many seating positions. With a great location near a major metropolitan hub, a spectator-friendly layout, and an experience that challenges drivers, you can see why this place remains abuzz with racing to this day. Well, this should be a fun one and also very appropriate for these style of cars here, Michael. I'm looking forward to seeing the finale tonight.
Oh, this is going to be the most appropriate place I can think of to have this. If you just look at the screen here, there are 9 corners, and I usually say, depending on how you count it, not in this case, there really are 9 corners. And it seems like every corner is named after a legend in British motorsports, maybe except for Paddock Hill Bend, unless you want to think of Phil Hill. I don't know. But anyway, this is one of those tracks where there is so much opportunity for passing, for action, for drafting, for anything and everything. The straight going up to Hawthorne Bend, that beautiful opportunity for draft, coming around Clark Curve toward start finish, and seeing how brave you can be to get on the brakes, to go into that downhill Paddock Hill Bend and just skirt along the edge as you head up towards the bridge at Druids. Man, this is going to be an exciting race. This is going to be one of those where we are on the edge of our seat every single lap.
I suspect some of the drivers are going to be on the edge of the track, too, with how hard you have to push in these touring cars. But championship is definitely up for grabs, and it's the top 3 are the main ones that you got to watch out for. Jason Smith, Ronan Doherty, and Jordan Kelly. Jordan, a little bit more of a distant hope, but you never know, because there are 3 races, which we'll go over in a little bit. You get down to Evan Walsh, it's going to be a pretty unlikely, and then guys like Peter McCann and Tony Stack are way too far behind. Very close fight, though, for 9th between Stevenson and Wall down there farther in the field. For today's race details, not just one race, though, Michael. We've got 3 on tap.
Yeah, kind of exciting. I love this kind of setup where they have multiple races like this. First race, 15 minutes. They are qualifying right now to set the grid for that. Then race 2 is only a 10-minute race, and it is set by their finishing position in race 1. Race 3, for all the marbles, 20 minutes, reversing the top 8 from race 2. So that allows for a little bit more exciting. Now, important to note, it'll be very easy to pick up incident points here because of the way the track is. It's kind of narrow. You get 12, that's a drive-through penalty. Disqualification at 20.
The good news is that that's per race, so they hopefully will not rack them up that quickly, since you can see they're quite short events here, each of them. And right now, Jason Smith has the provisional pole for that first one, and that's really going to set the tone. We talk about that in every race that we cover for this series, Michael, how the fact that each race has an effect on the following one really means you got to kind of get it right from the start.
You absolutely do. There are so many series you can run out there, and then you find ones that are as close and as tight as this one is. You see how these drivers kind of work together to work against each other, sort of. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. Hopefully it does into the viewers' heads. But it's something I do when I'm racing. I might be alongside somebody who is not necessarily my teammate, but we can work together to work our way up the field, and then we'll go at it later and start racing each other. So I think we'll find a little bit of that going on here, even in these short races. You really need the help. You cannot go this alone. You cannot be the solo driver unless you're just a mega alien and you pull away from everybody. But from the look of this field, not so likely. We got Adam Dowling right now kind of messing up our trio up top of Smith, Doherty, and Kelly. Dowling, I think he's currently in 7th position in the championship. He could be a little bit of a spoiler for this race.
He could indeed, and at this point, with him not really fighting for the championship, it's going to be down to just taking as many wins as he can. As there is Emma Dempsey, she's currently sitting in 17th out of our 18 drivers out there, and well, heading off into the gravel coming out of Westfield is not going to get a good lap. Might have enough time to get around for one more, but they do not allow drivers to complete their hot laps in this series. Yes, it's 15 minutes and it's open qualifying, but once that timer runs out, it immediately switches over for them. And it looks like Wayne Douglas now has jumped onto the second row ahead of Kelly. So Jordan struggling a little bit, and I'm seeing it's mostly down to getting a clean lap in because he's only got one that's counted.
And clean laps are truly challenging here. I was talking about how diving the car down into Paddock Hill Bend right here, as the car comes through there, see how the rear end just twitches out a little bit. You've got to use all that runoff. But be very careful because you can pick up one of those incident points at the end. And as we just saw in the background, somebody getting a little bit too wide on the exit. But again, watch how they use every last millimeter of track coming through here. You can get way out there, but don't get too far right at the end of it because you will pick up an incident point.
Ooh, and Kelly just parked it. So Kelly's done with qualifying. There's not enough time to get back around. They take about 1:30 to lap this place. And right now, Jason Smith still with a huge advantage over his rivals. So he's on his last lap because he's coming through Sterling. This is Adam Dowling, who's going to have to try and catch him up behind him. That looked like that was a little too wide a run, whoever that was. So that lap probably going to get deleted for him. And I'm keeping an eye on Smith to see if he's going to improve on this time by. And it doesn't look like it. So it's yet another very wide run there for the car that's trailing behind Dowling, and Smith does not improve, it appears, as coming across the line, Wayne Douglas doesn't go any faster. He stays in the 4th position, and then up to the line, Adam Dowling needing to improve by quite a bit. Unfortunately, is not going to do so. He'll stay in 2nd at best. 20 seconds left, so it looks like Al Doherty is going to slow up. He's not going to finish his lap. Yeah, Jan Mild is not going to have that lap counted. So 10 seconds. Is anybody able to get to the line from here? No, that is it for our qualifying. And our 18-car grid is now set today. So your starting order for the season finale of the RTA British Touring Car Championship is Jason Smith on the pole with Adam Dowling in 2nd. Ronan Doherty will start from P3 as Wayne Douglas will be in 4th. Then Jordan Kelly, who starts from the 5th position, is 3rd in the championship. This is not looking good for him. Evan Walsh will be 6th as Simon Walsh starts from 7th. You've got Tony Stack to his outside, and DeFerrell will be 9th, and then Peter McCann rounds out your top 10.
Looks like we're going to have Niall Doherty on the lead of row number 6 in P11. Alongside him, Keith McClory, Andrew Murphy, Jan Mild right behind, Merrick Leolius. That one always trips me up. John McDonald, Emma Dempsey in 17th, and last is going to be Vladimir Steskal.
And Jason Smith will be starting it from the pole here. So our points leader has the advantage at the start of these 3 races. The question is, can he take it home and then continue that dominance to keep himself out of reach of Doherty, who's going to be starting directly behind him there in 3rd. You can see it's slightly warm out here today, and we're just waiting on Tony Stack. He's that last open spot on the grid to finally plop himself out there, and we'll get rolling here today. Got a few more seconds before he has to get in there, and now we are ready to go. So it's not the last chance, but it's getting down to it. They'll have 3 races, and this is the first of them as the lights come up and the engines now start to rev. The green flag is out. Coming off the line, it looks like Smith is much better than Dowling. And heading into the first corner, Wayne Douglas split the middle to get himself into 2nd place. 3 wide behind them. They're going to be able to make it work down through Paddock Hill Bend. And it looks like everybody's now heading towards Druids.
Really nice activity on the start there. A little shuffling around, and everyone being mindful of the space around them. Very well done. Good gentlemanly driving, as we like to say.
Absolutely. We want to see everybody get through those first few corners so that we can get the racing on. Looks like Farrell had a bit of an issue coming off of Graham Hill Bend, loses a couple spots, but otherwise is still rolling. So Smith, Douglas, Kelly, your top 3. Great start from that 12 of Jordan Kelly. He needed to be up there and racing with Smith, and, well, looks like Roden Doherty actually had the worst start of them. He's down to 5th.
Yeah, Jordan making up 2 spots on the open. And actually not just, so Wayne Douglas, Jordan Kelly, and Evan Walsh, all 3 made up 2 spots on that start. Adam Dowling coming off the bad end of that, losing 4 positions, currently sitting in 6th position. But as we come back to the action at the lead of the pack, we've got a little bit of, let's call it lawn maintenance going on here.
Ooh, and another one behind them. His drivers are getting aggressive now at the second half of the lap. Farrell involved in more contact, and it looks like Stejskal as well as he gets turned around coming through Sterling Bend. And I think that was Ronan Doherty who we saw having that trip out of Sheens through the gravel, but he's going to get one more spot back as he goes by on Adam Dowling. So Dowling now into 6th.
Dowling moving up to 6, looking good. The front part of this pack is kind of sitting in and letting things happen organically. It's when we start to get towards that mid-pack in the rear, everybody's fighting just tooth and nail to get every last position they can, trying to find a way around the person in front of them. We've noticed some lights flashing. I don't know if that was somebody pushing the wrong button or maybe just trying to intimidate the car in front of you. It does work. You get in their head and you start flashing your lights at them as is want to happen, and then they make a mistake. You can drive right around them.
And there's a little bit of a poke from Tony Stack trying to go by Simon Wall. Can't quite make that work. See, for me, it always just made me angrier, and I just defend more aggressively because I hate
Good.
Sort of
Good. Be more aggressive. I like that.
I always hated those guys try to play those sort of games, but looks like coming up through Sheens here, still nose to tail, but for the lead instead. But Douglas not as quickly off of Sterling Bend. Now Jordan Kelly trying to take advantage with a great run, closing on the number 14. Let's see if he can get a chance to try and send it into Paddock Hill Bend.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity right here, but you have to notice there's Jordan Kelly right behind him. So Douglas wants to stay ahead. He's only got about a half a second to his front, about 6/10 as they come through Paddock Hill Bend. But man, look behind him. Kelly is just closing that gap. We might see something as they go into, not quite, trying to get up around the outside, but not quite enough room to make that one happen.
Good defense from Wayne Douglas there, but he's going to have to watch out. We've already seen a few drivers have a little bit of the chrome horn come out here today, and Jordan Kelly is not afraid to ride right up on the bumper of the 14. Coming through Surtees, that's a pretty decent run there for the 12 car, but is this a long enough straight, and is the draft powerful enough?
Right here, I think it is the corner at the top of the hill. When you get up here to the top of this hill and you're at Hawthorne Bend, that is a very fast corner, especially in these front-wheel drive TCR cars. You can just put the hammer down, just flick the car in, and punch the gas and go. Now is where things start to get a little bit crazy. And by the time we get around to Sterling's, I think with these two this close, we might see an attempt at a pass. If Kelly can hold it this close to Douglas or even a little bit tighter, he might be able to get around him when we get to Sterling.
Smith has got to be loving this, though, because look at the gap he started to pull just from these two fighting for about a lap now. And Evan Walsh also sitting back there thinking, keep this up, boys. I can maybe try and take a position here. And coming onto the main straight up towards the start-finish line, nobody really finding any sort of edge as they all stay about equidistant.
Yeah, they're making that little juke. I find if you're trying to make a lap here, you kind of want to hold on to that wall a little bit, not too close, because you get a weird effect of the arrow off that wall. And arrow does affect these cars very much. But once again, looking at Kelly, he is right up there again, just the same as last time. I think this is kind of one of those power moves, trying to get in his head. I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing light flashing about now.
We'll keep a watch on it to see whether or not that Audi is going to try and see if he can psych out the Hyundai as they start to come over the crest. Not the best of exits this time from Jordan Kelly, but they are keeping Evan Walsh at a distance, which might be more of the concern at this stage. You talked about having to work together a little bit. Seems like they calmed down, at least for the time being.
Yeah, I think they're starting to realize maybe that they need to work together to catch up to Smith. Smith is on a run. He's over 1 second out, or 1.2 seconds out front. That's just growing by about half a tenth to a tenth every single lap. So, like you said, Smith is sitting there going, yeah, guys, please fight some more. I want you to do that because I get to open up my gap as we watch him coming out, looking down towards that final corner.
Up towards Clark. This is a great exit for Jordan Kelly. This is another rather swift turn for these cars. You can see them coming over the crest of Clark and onto the Brabham straight. Kelly trying his darndest to hold on to Douglas and see if he can get that move done, and still not able to get side by side. Jason Smith, in the meantime, taking the fastest lap. That was a wide run coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. Douglas immediately goes defensive. He knows he's got to cover things off. Kelly gets the overlap, but then he has to shut the door as Walsh starts to approach.
Good job. Very nice job from Douglas there. He made the mistake, but he learned from his mistake, and he kept it a little bit tight on his way out of the corner. Didn't want to give it away, because when you get up into Druids like that, you really have to be careful. There is a passing opportunity coming out of Druids into Graham Hill Bend.
You talked about how brave Jordan was getting close to Douglas's bumper. Well, Douglas chopped off Jordan coming up to Surtees this time and had inches to spare. That was brave of him. He could have turned them both off of the track with that move, but he measured it just right. Coming out of Hawthorne and up towards Westfield, a little drift to the inside, maybe trying to dissuade Kelly from having another move there, and neither of them has some side-by-side this time on the back of the course. I know we've been covering this a lot, but Jordan Kelly at this stage definitely needs to try and catch up to Smith. He's the one that needs to grab points off the 5 car for the championship.
Yeah, this is getting to be pretty exciting here. Look at how close they are getting. So there's an interesting difference that I've noted between the cars. The Audi used to have the legs. You used to be able to get the Audi going really well on these long straightaways. And then there was a little bit of BOP stuff done, and suddenly that Hyundai, wow, it just launches down these straightaways, and there's no way you can catch it. But look at Douglas just wiggling that car around. He is absolutely on the edge, going up the inside. Can he hold on to it? No. Oh, so close. Good room given there, though, and a little door-to-door. Somebody's losing a mirror.
Going to make more contact and yet more bumping and rubbing between the pair of them, as that is going to allow Evan Walsh to once again carry his speed better than the pair of them as they continue to go wheel to wheel around multiple corners. And Jordan Kelly has had enough of sitting back there. He's starting to make very aggressive moves, and there's certainly plenty of contacts, and a late defense from Douglas once again forces Jordan coming up to the outside into Hawthorne Bend. He could pull an over-under, but no.
And it looks like Walsh is trying to egg them on there with his flashing lights, going, yeah, boys, come on, keep doing that. I like seeing this. You guys take each other out. I'll just go right around you.
And behind them, it starts to look like Ronan Doherty is also gaining ground. This has really hurt the 14 and the 12. Coming off of Sterling, there could be a great chance now for Jordan Kelly, but every single corner, Douglas tries to cover the inside. Now he leaves the door open, and a late juke, unfortunately, does not produce the position for Jordan.
And that was probably a little bit of a tactical maneuver. Get him to commit to that inside when you know you've got enough of a gap to open it up. And just trying to see if that can keep him in the lead by the time they get to start finish, if he allows him to do that. Now they come through. Oh, wow. That was a little more dirt than I usually like to see coming through that corner.
But he held it well, kept his foot in it, didn't lose much speed, if any, ahead of them because of all of this. Smith is now 3 seconds ahead. And it looks like this first part of the track is where Jordan is quicker. He keeps getting right on top of him, but also can't seem to really put himself in a position to get the move completed.
A lot of this is the gearing in the Audi. The Audi has significantly different gearing. It gets to 6th gear very quickly and just kind of sits there. So you've got a very strong pull through those low to mid speed corners because you have your choice of gear. Whereas in the Hyundai, you kind of have a gear you can choose and you go with what you got. It's interesting to watch how that happens. Now, when we open up, like you were saying, into this longer stretch, these longer runs where the cars are just sitting in top gear, it's really the Hyundai's zone when they get up here.
Interesting stuff there of the differences between these two cars, but using it to his advantage, trying to get his way up into that 6th gear and take advantage of it. Kelly gets close once again, and this is his best opportunity, trying to defend. This time he can't shut the door. Jordan's got his foot in. He's going to have the inside coming up into Paddock Hill Bend, and Wayne is going to have to brake super deep, but he does not. He backs it up. Could he pull the over-under on Jordan Kelly, who takes it as far as he can go, gets back in the throttle, and now pulls the same move back on him, covers the inside on Douglas, and that's 2nd spot after many laps of trying for the 12.
Wow, that was impressive driving from Kelly there. He had a fantastic attack, set it up beautifully, just got the nose in ever so slightly, and then had to turn it around to defense, because the defense coming back from Douglas the attack coming back from Douglas was brilliant. He was doing it exactly right. But also exactly right was Kelly. Now, Kelly's got about a 3-second gap to get up to Smith. Can he close this gap with 3 minutes? Well, it would take a Herculean feat. However, we just saw one. So I wouldn't put it past him to be able to catch up.
I think he's going to have to mostly rely on some mistakes out of that 5 car. Based on the race that he's running, it's not looking all that likely, but it will position him well for the next one, since the finishing order determines the start order for the next race, and he will be on the front row. They fly through Sheens. Ooh, just kicking up a little bit more of that dirt there. Evan Walsh, who has not been able to overtake Douglas yet, is still right there, but he's also got Ronan Doherty. And if Walsh makes a move, you got to think that Ronan is going to try and pick up the pieces.
Yeah, and this is just a really interesting fight. As you look at this group here, we have a pretty big group of cars all fighting for 2nd position. That's 4 cars going for 2nd. They're not going for 3rd. Everybody here is shooting for 2nd. Watch how things develop over the next 2.25 minutes to see how much shuffling we get in this little pack of 4.
Yeah, it's 2 laps to go. Next time by is going to be the white flag. And if these guys want a position, they're going to have to start to make some moves and try and get their nose in there, but hopefully not wreck each other in the process as well. But Jordan Kelly is now sitting pretty. He's not run away, but he's also kept Wayne Douglas from getting close enough that he can attack back. Speaking of which, Walsh looked like he had a good run out of Surtees, and then it kind of petered out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe he had some damage from some side-to-side contact earlier. I'm looking at the car, and I don't really see much, but there could be something that's going on, or maybe just he's not able to get the power down as well.
There could be a lot of what-ifs for him, but he'll get a fresh car come next race. So as long as he brings it home here in these top 4 or 5, then he's got a good start coming in the next event of the evening. As they fly off of Sterling, you can see that the gap up ahead of them is slightly smaller. You talked about whether or not he can make that Herculean effort. He's putting it in. It's down to 2.5 seconds. So either Jason is managing that gap or Kelly has got significant pace advantage.
I'd like to think that Jason is really managing it, but don't put it beyond Jordan to be closing it up, because he just ran the fastest lap of the race at a 1:32. We'll just call it a 5. No, we'll call it a 4. 4:99. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's pushing. So regardless of whether or not Smith is backing off, Jordan's definitely giving it his all. It's down to 2.4 seconds between them, and Kelly has left Douglas well enough behind. But Douglas is not as much under threat from Walsh, who instead has Doherty starting to close in, coming through Surtees. We're finally getting a little bit of sunshine out there at this stage of the race, so I wonder if that'll continue to increase the temperature slightly at the end of this event, the very last lap of the first race of the evening. And coming up onto the back half of the course, down to 2.3 seconds now between Smith and Kelly. It's too little, too late, unfortunately.
It took him a little bit too long to get around Douglas. Douglas, though, putting up a beautiful fight. Looks like Douglas holding on very well to 3rd position, half a second back to Walsh behind him. So that looks like it's pretty much in the bag, but we got to wait for that fat lady to sing in just a couple of seconds.
Oh, but Walsh made a mistake off of Sterling. Doherty's going to get by, easily snatching that one up. And speaking of easy, Jason Smith from the pole, a little bit of a threat early on, but nothing doing at the end as he easily gets victory over Jordan Kelly, who will be P2, Wayne Douglas third, and Doherty is, oh, did he fall? No, he stayed in fourth. Walsh will finish behind him in fifth. My time in its coins glitched for a moment. Dowling wound up in sixth after starting on the front row. It did not come back to that number 4.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but there was some crazy movement early on. And with these cars, the way the tires heat up, or take a long time actually to heat up, you have to be super confident in driving, well, let's just call it hockey pucks, because that's what they feel like when they are cold on the start of a race. They do nothing but spin and slide. So coming out of that alive after 2 laps, you can count yourself lucky.
Not so for Stezcall, who winds up 17th, the last of the finishing cars. Emma Dempsey didn't get to the checkered flag, which takes us over to the second race. And Jason Smith, once again, will be on the pole. But this time, Jordan Kelly is going to be starting from second instead of fifth. Wayne Douglas will be P3 as Ronan Doherty starts from fourth, one down from where he began last race. Evan Walsh will start P5. Dowling, a miserable first race, all the way down to 6 as Simon Wall will start from 7th, exactly where he started and finished last one. Tony Stack will be P8 and Peter McCann 9th with Neil Doherty in 10th.
Looking at row number 6, Jan Mild is in 11th with John McDonald 12th. Merrick Leolius looks like we've got a start to go to.
Yep, they gritted up quick on this one. And coming off the line, this time Smith did not go well. Here goes Jordan Kelly around the outside. He gets the lead away from him very, very quickly. And then flying down into Paddock Hill Bend. They're already single file for the top 4. Little bit timid behind them as well. Someone kicking up a little bit of dirt. And finally, we get a big wreck out of Paddock Hill Bend like we sometimes see here. John McDonald is the one that fell victim to that.
Yeah, it looks like we got a little bit of landscape. Yeah, here we go. Landscape architecture going on here. Oh, and a nice little side-to-side, door-to-door going through there. Oh, this is going to be a fun race to watch at the back.
They are on it right now. That was Wall. That's the other one that we saw going off through Druids. But Jordan Kelly, I think that pace that he showed at the end of the race is still here at the start. He's already gapping Smith by 0.8 of a second. He's trying to put as much distance as he can between himself and the 5, knowing he needs that 5 car to have a bad result to catch him in the points.
Yeah, he needs to get some pork chops to go with that gapple sauce he's serving up, because, wow, he's really opening it up. And that's one of the things about this Audi. Honestly, it's brilliant off the start if you know the secret. There's a secret to launching that Audi, and when you get it right, nobody can touch you.
Coming down into Sterling, still quite a fight between Doherty, Douglas, and Walsh. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? They're gonna come back again for round 2, and flying into Clark Curve. That was a little bit wide for Doherty. He's going to be slow, and Douglas sees that. Oh, but he gets chopped off. He has to switch to the outside. In fact, I think he had to lift, and that hurt his momentum.
Yeah, momentum's so important in a race car. And you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, this is a... No! I didn't know we were having a drift show today. That was pretty impressive. And
oh, he had caught it so well. He kept his foot in it like you need to in these front-wheel drive cars, but he ran out of racetrack, and into the barrier goes Evan Walsh. He comes to a halt, trying to wait for everybody to go by so he can get an opening, and now he is clear to return. So not going to be a good start for Evan on this one, no doubt, as that leaves another little bit of a gap in and amongst our front runners. In fact, we got a good battle between Stack and McCann now for 5th position. Stack went way wide coming through Surtees.
Yeah, Peter McCann coming up side by side as we see here, coming through the corner, trying to hold on to the inside, sets it up beautifully, gets the power down in that Audi, trying to pull away. Can he hold on to it? Looks like nope. not going to happen. Oh, maybe. We've got another run through the corner. So also note, there are 2 different Hyundais in this series. So make sure you notice which ones you're going on as we get another little drift show. Wow.
That was brave from McCann. As behind them side by side between Doherty and Dowling. Doherty's just going to slide in front. Doherty tries to cut back and use the momentum to get side by side into Clark, but he gets fed out as they enter that corner. No, he cuts back once again. The battle carries on onto the Brabham Straight.
Wow, this is a great battle back in the field. It's always fun to watch the mid-pack. I see this in Formula One, I see this in IMSA, and I see this in SRO all the time. A lot of times you get out front and you watch what's going on, but then in the middle of the pack, this is where the real racing comes on because man, these guys are hungry. They want to get up there and be part of the podium celebrations. So even from 5th, 6th, even back 10th, 12th, you find yourself fighting for it because you think you have an opportunity to get up there.
Dowling and Niall Doherty are just serving up some action here. As behind them, you can see more battles going on. Farrell just overtook on Leolis as McClory is in there as well. So lots of great fighting. But up at the very front, we can't ignore the fact that Smith has recovered. And now that the tires are up to temperature, that 5 car looks pretty quick.
Yeah, looking really quick through there, the 5 car. He has closed it up. Remember the gap at the beginning of the race? Kelly was able to really open this up because of the launch of that Audi on those cold tires getting out front. This is the hard part for the Audi. When you're down 5 to 8 minutes into the race, the other cars start to catch up to you. Now is where the real driving takes place. You got an easy start, but wow, you've got to hold on to that position and really defend well. As we watch him coming down the straight up into the first corner, is he going to have a passing opportunity? Smith is closing it up. He's under 0.2 of a second. Nope, not quite enough to get it in there, but Ronan Doherty pulling the fastest lap out of P3.
And in a bizarre twist, with all this hard fighting that we've witnessed, we've had a driver with an accident, but not due to the battling. Wayne Douglas all by himself coming through Sheen Curve. Just took a little too much grass and spun it into the Armco. That's way wide as well for Kelly. That's going to slow him down. He knows it. He ducks to the inside coming into Surtees. Smith trying to cut back on him and then climbing up the hill. He is going to have another bite of the apple here. Does the 5 have enough in him?
It looks like he's going to be able to hold on to it here, but it is going to be tight. Notice how he's just covering that inside a little bit, making a very gentle move over to the left side, not letting the definition of the block happen yet. He hasn't stopped moving, but he moves very slowly, trying to force Smith behind him into a position.
So Kelly's now having to fight for it. Ronan Doherty is also there. So there's your top 3 in the points, not necessarily in the same order. In fact, just about reversed.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost reverse order there.
Ooh, and Peter McCann just got by Tony Stack into Sheens. That is brave stuff back there amongst them. And they are banging wheels, banging doors all over the place in this group. Doherty and Dowling starting to have a little bit of a tussle there, but we're going to see that over-under once again. A little bit of contact. Gets back on before he runs out of racetrack and out of the grass. So Adam Dowling regroups and wants to try and see if he can attack Niall Doherty, who clearly is not taking no for an answer.
This is Veloster on the Elantra. The Elantra versus the Veloster. They are so close. These cars are almost identical. I think there might be a wheelbase difference between them, but man, lap times, you cannot tell the difference.
And they did race each other in real life. In fact, I think still do, as both do compete in IMSA. But coming up the hill now, they're going to have to get a little bit closer than this, because this is probably the farthest apart we've seen them all race now. Let's head back to Smith and Kelly, because it's back to 1/10 of a second between them. Doherty dropping off slightly. This is your battle for the lead, but this is only a 10-minute race. This is the shortest of the 3, and this is truly a sprint of a sprint where you've got to try and make it happen fast.
Yes, you do. With 10 minutes to go, that's barely enough time to get your tires warm in these cars. It is a short lap when you consider how quick the laps are, but you almost feel like, okay, now I'm ready to get into the groove, and you just can't do it. But let's watch this trio here coming down to our final corner, getting on the power, letting the car push all the way to that outside line, and then you sort of double apex it here right past the entry to the pits. Now you're holding it up. Now move it back to the outside. See that quick juke trying to set up for turn 1.
It sets up well, but so does Smith. Both of Kelly and Doherty taking quite a bit of dirt through the gravel trap there. Now they break for Druids and then accelerate back down the hill into Graham Hill Bend, and Smith continues to fill the mirrors of that 12 car. They are on 2 laps to go now at this stage. So Jordan Smith is going to have to try and fight to get that back, or does he not want to potentially? Is he content to try and ride the points here in second place, knowing that he probably will still have the advantage coming into the last event of the evening?
Well, in second place, that'll put him in 7th for the start. So I don't know if I want to be in 7th. I'd almost rather be on the outside in 8th position. So not sure how he would want to be, but I know where I would want to be. I want to be on the outside with that standing start to head through the first corner for the next race.
And that's a fair point. I forgot about the reverse grid for the top 8 in this field, shaking things up, no doubt. Right now, Jan Mild is going to be the one that will take that that pole position if things finish where they are. Up towards Clark Curve, this will be white flag for these 3. Who will be our victor after this one? Definitely a closer fight than what we saw in the first race of the night.
Yeah, what you're seeing right now is exactly what I was talking about. The Audi is able to open it back up. We're over quarter second now. The last couple of laps, this was sitting right around 1/10 of a second, just over. As, Kelly going a little bit wildly wide there, which is allowing Smith to close that up. But it's still at 0.3 of a second as these guys go through Druids and try to work their way down. Now, watch here. Watch how much they use as they on that overrun. That is all sort of paved out there and has a ton of grip. So it's okay to get the car out there. Just don't overrun it a little too far, because you can get an incident point if you get out too far.
It's hard to tell the difference between that and the grass to a certain degree, I'm sure. But they managed it, it looked like, pretty cleanly this time. Doherty really dropping away. Unless these two tangle, it's unlikely that Ronan's going to be able to steal this win from them. But can Smith get that lead back after Kelly was better off the start line? Through the Westfield Bend and Dingledale into Sheen. This corner often elicits mistakes. We've already seen it gobble up a few drivers, but none of them having that issue here, even though Kelly pushed the limits of it.
Yeah, that was a lot of grass as we watch him coming up towards Clark Curve. This is going to be an exciting finish. It's still 0.3 and then another 6 to third place. It's going to be tight.
If he's good off the corner, he's got it, and he does. Jordan Kelly coming to the line is going to win race number 2 of the finale here in the RTA British Touring Car Championship. And there goes Jason Smith in second, with Doherty getting third. How about Peter McCann? He may be a little ways back, almost 10 seconds behind, but he gets a nice 4th place from starting 9th out there today.
Yeah, beautiful movement through the field from Peter McCann. I was kind of halfway watching him on my side monitor to see what he was doing, seeing a lot of really good movement through the field. He was setting up passes beautifully. He did it like a pro. I love to see it.
Stedge call is going to be our last to complete this race. Walsh, McDonald, and Murphy, unfortunately, wrecking out on that one. But that takes us to the warm-up, which gives us a chance to breathe and take a look at the finishing order for that last race. And as we mentioned, Jordan Kelly going from second to the win, but barely over Jason Smith, doing great defense to keep him behind almost all race long. He had a bit of a buffer early and then started to see that eaten away at. Ronan Doherty finished in third, as after that it was Peter McCann. It was Tony Stack who finished in 5th position, and Niall Doherty in P6. Adam Dowling went down 1 into 7th, and Jan Mild, who's going to be our pole sitter, finished in 8th. And it's Inda Farrells who finished 9th, and Merrick Leolis, who wound up in the top 10.
Looking at P11, we've got Simon Wall, followed by Wayne Douglas, about 17 seconds back. Close behind there, Keith McClory. Emma Dempsey comes in 14th in the number 1 car, Vladimir Cheskal. I will work on that. I promise. I am butchering your name. I will fix my mouth and make it right. Evan Walsh right behind him, John McDonald, and then another, also 7 laps back, is going to be Andrew Murphy.
Looks like we've got our second place finisher ready to talk to us, Jason Smith, after taking victory in the first race. And Jason, that first one looked a lot easier than that second one. What happened at the start there in the second race that cost you the lead?
Yeah, I got a good start, but the Audi is very good compared to all the other cars, and Start has a very good launch system. So I just had to slip my clutch, and it just wasn't really working out for me. So Jordan got the better start of me.
So this makes me curious as well, because Kelly came in with a decent gap, not huge, to try and catch up to you. Obviously, he gained a little, but you had already beat him in the first race. So what's your take on this third one? Do you know the point situation, and are you going to points race, or is this win or nothing?
It's the points. It's sure the championship, but just try to keep my nose clean and just get through it. So.
What's been the big surprise in this race with these TCR cars here today? Because they've been an absolute blast to watch from our end. It seems like the fighting has been fantastic.
Oh yeah, the racing in these cars are just unbelievable. The way you can go so close and you can tap each other a little bit, and it doesn't really do anything, and it's just made for good racing, really.
That's an understatement for sure. Well, best of luck and congratulations on the win in the first race and the podium in the second.
Thanks.
That was Jason Smith, P1 and P2 so far today. And I think Michael has caught up with the winner in the second race and the second place finisher in the first race.
So, Jordan, beautiful racing out there. I love that start. And I kind of whispered over to Joe, the Audi on the start, nobody can touch it when you know the secret. Looks like you know the secret. You don't have to divulge it, but it looks like you know the secret.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy car to get off the line once you get figured out, and can't really complain about the 2 races, but probably the championship's probably a wee bit too far to my grasp now, but it'll be a good fight between Jason and Ronan now to see who gets the one in the reverse grid now.
So with the reverse grid, you're starting in 8th, and you got to work your way up to first. Are you going to make it all the way to first? Are we going to go ahead and roll the dice here and say you're going to make it to first place from 8th?
All I can hope is get a good start, because there's some quick boys up the front that had a bit of a power race, so I'll just try and get as many places off the line hopefully as possible, and we'll try and work from there hopefully.
So when did you feel like driving the Audi that it kind of fell off and then came back? Because for me, I find when I drive the Audi, which I love driving in this class, that it takes off beautifully and you can put a big gap, and then people start catching you and you have to hold off until the Audi comes back. When is that point for you?
Well, I found the first race, it was near the end of the race, this tire started coming back into it, and I was doing my PB laps and stuff, so probably I'd say maybe 12 minutes in, I'd say, would be when it starts getting good, so hopefully it still is the same again and we can work up the front.
So it sounds like 12 minutes into the race, you are going to be making the charge for the front, and we're going to enjoy watching you do that. But we've got to get back to the start of the next race. Joe, I think we have the grid to go through, right?
We do indeed. The reversed order on this one. So on the top of the standings, or top of the poll, it's going to be Jan Mild with Adam Dowling. Then it's Niall Doherty and Tony Stack. Peter McCann starts from 5th, followed by Ronan Doherty. Jason Smith will be 7, Jordan Kelly in 8th, and then Inda Farrell and Merrick Leolis, the first not to be regrid.
And on row number 6, going to be Simon Wall with Wayne Douglas, Keith McClory, Emma Dempsey in 14th. I'm going to try again. Vladimir Skjeskal in 15th, Evan Walsh 16th, John McDonald, and Andrew Murphy filling out the field.
My American brain says that's close enough, but we'll see what Vladimir says, as it looks like everybody's gridded up. So the engines start to rev as the lights come up. It is the last race of the season, and the green flag is out. Coming off the line, it doesn't look like Mild is going very fast at all. In fact, already down to fourth, as up to the top, it is going to be Dowling who gets himself into the lead. Little bit of a bobble there for Doherty as he gets the side of Stack, but they manage to get through it. 3 wide down for fourth place, and way around the outside. Oh, somebody's being spun out. Is that Smith? No, that's Kelly. Kelly involved in it, trying to stay out of trouble, eventually getting the car going, and somebody's backwards.
Ooh, backwards is not where you want to be, especially right there in that corner. When you get up to Druids like that, it is such a tight and semi-blind corner. Tough place to be backwards, but back at the front of the field, taking a look, we have Dowling still trying to hold the gap. Got about a quarter second back to Doherty, Stack, and then the other Doherty.
That was Peter McCann who found himself facing the wrong way in Druids. He's got the car rolling again. Looks like just small bumps and bangs. Everybody able to carry on. But Dowling, as you mentioned, your leader over Niall Doherty. Tony Stack sitting in third. How about Ronan Doherty, who had a bit of a poor first race comparably, is now trying to make up for it, already up into fourth and ahead of Jason Smith still, but he's going to have to make some moves. In fact, he's going to try and make one right here. Tony Stack leaves the door open, tries to shut it a little too late, and Stack gets shoved off course.
Yeah, doing a little bit of landscaping as he gets out there, but time to get back. This is a 20-minute race, plenty of time to do it. This is twice the duration of the previous race. So taking a look, though, look at Smith. Smith is already up to fourth position, starting in seventh, working his way up about 1.3 seconds off our lead. This is going to be an interesting dash to the finish.
Oh, way deep in there for Tony Stack, and Mild is trying to hold on to the car, somehow keeps it on the circuit, but is going to be overtaken by Simon Wall, who manages to get around, and that is Jordan Kelly, who had the worst of that big incident. Somebody's wrecking there. It looks like Stezcall into Druids, finds the barrier, and gets it back on the track in the meantime. But poor Jordan Kelly, who after his win was not able to stay out of trouble here in this final race.
Well, he is back where he started, P8. Now, plenty of time to make it up. However, from about 7 seconds off, it's going to be a tough run. But with all this activity going on in front of him, something could happen. But now, more activity drops him back to P10.
And he's got a cone friend as well. Up there, he lets two of them. Yeah, lets him go. As Jan Mild was unfortunately way off the pace coming through Pilgrim's Drop, loses to Leolis and Farrell. And now it looks like Kelly's going to try and take advantage down to the inside through Westfield Bend. Manages to get through. Another position going away as now Dempsey is picking up. Oh, 3 wide. I was going to say that's not going to work. And 2 of them find themselves off into the Armco.
Yeah, it's one of the unfortunate things with iRacing and wheels going off like that. So if you did that in real life, I don't think... Wow, that's an interesting look for that car. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a wheel on that backside. But iRacing sometimes overdoes a little bit there. Other times, man, these cars you can absolutely just bang side to side, front to rear, everything, and they have no issues. Meanwhile, Ronan Doherty pulls the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:33.484.
Yeah, look at this top group. This 20-minute race, the longest of the 3, and yet they're racing like this is it. Well, and I guess in a sense, it is it. This is the last you can do to try and improve your championship position or just get a good finish. And so far, Dowling is looking like he might be able to make use of that start up on the front row to his advantage.
Yeah, that's a good place to be, and he's already got about 7/10. That's close to the biggest lead I think we've seen anywhere. Well, actually, the first race we had a pretty big lead, but in the last 2 races, that's about as big as we've seen from anyone. These have been super tight races up until this point, so I'm looking to see that open up a little bit, or actually probably close down a whole lot, because man, the fighting here is crazy.
Tony Stack going to be able to get by on Simon Wall, coming through both Hawthorne and Westfield. Eventually gets it done in the second of those. As they come around, we're only 5 minutes into this thing. This is well behind our lead group. This is the battle for 5th position currently. Oh, and I think Niall Doherty had a bit of a problem because the 2 cars fallen off of Smith, Ronan, and this is Douglas with another problem for the second time this evening in Tasheen.
Oh, and looks like stuck in the wall there, possibly, or maybe some extra damage, not able to get the power down to get the car out. But Jason Smith really starting to close this up from third position, started off in 7th, closing it up, getting the fastest lap of the race so far, but I don't expect that one to stay.
That's for the lead. That's Doherty getting by Dowling. Smith is going to try and go through, but he's not able to do it there. Goes for the over-under instead. Coming out of Graham Hill Bend, he's got the overlap, but he doesn't have a car ahead of him. He's going to have to be deep on the brakes here coming into Surtees, and he is, and then good on the gas coming off of it, and he is. The battle carries on, though, through Pilgrim's Drop, and now it looks like Dowling has the advantage with the inside.
Dowling trying to hold on to the inside as we come up into this super fast right-hander. Holds onto the inside. Looks like, Smith is going to wait. Still got about 14 minutes left in this race. There is time to make this happen. The way Smith has been able to move through this field so far, starting in 7th, getting up to 3rd, I think there's time to just sit back and pick your chances and make sure they're good as our leader Doherty pulls another drift show move on the back end of this racetrack.
Oh, a slight bit of contact as well between Dowling. Oh, no! And that's going to run him into Jason Smith, who miraculously keeps it off the wall. But Niall Doherty is able to sneak by. Jason Smith now finds himself down in 4th, but critically still ahead of Kelly. However, Ronan Doherty, who now has multiple positions over both of them, what is this going to do championship-wise?
Oh, this is going to be a real upset in the championship. I can't even do the math because I'm still trying to watch all the craziness that's going on through turn 1 as they dive down into the bowl of the exit of turn 1 here, coming up into Druids and holding it tight. Everybody falling back in line, ready for another series of attacks.
Now, Smith not only has to pass Stack and Niall Doherty here, he has got to make up 6 seconds on Ronan Doherty, and these last 13 minutes has to be half a second a lap faster on average. Actually, I think even more than that is down into Surtees. Great move by Stack. Smith is going to follow through, and that was Jan Mild, who was a lap down, so actually he was trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, and this is getting really hot up front. We've got the inside is, nice pass. Got up around the inside, was able to hold on to that. This is some crazy racing going on now.
It is indeed, and I said Smith had to make passes and make up the gap. Now he just needs to make up the gap. It's just about 7 seconds up to the leader, but 5 seconds up to Niall Doherty, who had already dropped off the battle for the lead before we had the incident between Jason and actually, I think it was Adam Dowling, I want to say it was, that he came together with. So much has happened, I've lost track, honestly.
I'm trying to write notes frantically, but too much stuff is going on. And if you could see my notepad, it makes absolutely no sense because I start writing down something that happened on whatever lap, and then something else happens and I stop writing.
So right now, Ronan Doherty leads the way, but Jason Smith up into 3rd. That might do enough to keep him ahead in the points. Oh, big battle behind him, though. Looks like Simon Wall, Tony Stack, and Jordan Kelly, who is still doing everything he can to make up for a bad incident there at the very beginning, and unfortunately finds himself edged off the course by Stack.
Yeah, that's Audi versus Audi right there. So no advantage car-wise. This is straight up driver to driver, setup to setup. Now, as they come out of the corner there, working their way down towards Hawthorne Bend. Hawthorne Bend is a very fast corner. These Audis should be able to just dip in there. We've got 3 Audis in a row right here, Kelly, Stack, and Wall. Are they going to be able to take up any? Oh, looks like Kelly's going a little bit quicker through Hawthorne.
And quick enough that he's going to give a little hello to Tony Stack there. Didn't really send him off the course, just reminding him that he's there. Oh, much tighter down to the apex as well, but no place to take it. Thinks about it, then comes the racing line and gives another hello. This time a much rougher one to Tony Stack. I don't think that was intentional. I think he didn't anticipate the lack of speed from the 81.
Yeah, coming through Sterling's, there's so much grip to be had there, and there's just a massive amount of camber. Oh no, and he gets a little bit wide, and he's holding on to the edge of the grass. Ooh, I don't know if Kelly's going to be able to recover from that. We got about 10 minutes left in this race. That's going to be a big gap to make up. But You know, we've seen it happen already with big gaps being made up in this race in the earlier 2 races, so I wouldn't put him out.
Yeah, 2.5 lost from just dragging his tires through the grass there, unfortunately. But he's able to carry on. I was worried he would kind of spear off and wind up grazing against the outside barrier there. In the meantime, Ronan Doherty has been leading Niall Doherty, the pair of them about 3 seconds apart, unfazed, but they might have company soon because Smith has got it down to 3.5 seconds behind the number 2 car and gaining.
Yeah, he's definitely closing this in. It's about 3 seconds between the Dohertys and then Smith right behind him, wanting to close this up. He's on the podium now, not a bad place to be. And again, I don't want to do the math while stuff's going on, because as soon as I start writing something down, something crazy happens on screen. But let's watch this little group right here. This is again our trio of Kelly, Stack, and Wall, the 3 Audis in the top of the field trying to push their way on up. Notice how Kelly has closed this gap back up. He is now sitting at about 0.3 off of Stack. Stack about 3/4 of a second off of Wall. This is going to be a crazy little bit of driving that we're about to see over the next 9 minutes.
Yeah, he cut that gap down pretty quickly. So clearly the faster of the 3, at least from what we're seeing right now. But he's got to try and get that overtake done. And unfortunately for Jordan, he's more than 10 seconds behind Ronan Doherty, our current leader, with less than 9 minutes left to go on the clock. So it's basically looked like this is out of the hands of Jordan at this point. Another big contact into the rear of Tony Stack. He's going to use up that bumper at some point.
Yeah, it looks like back up at the front, though, Niall Doherty is losing a little bit of ground. Almost 4 seconds between Ronan and Niall at this point. Smith still at about 6.8 seconds. Wants to close that up. But this is a big ask with 8 minutes left to go in this race. But still sticking here with these 3 Audis. Look at Kelly. He is hungry. He wants to get back in. He was 1.5 seconds off after he rode the grass and then closed that up to literally nothing. They are actually right at the point of touching nose to tail as they go through these corners at breakneck speed. I think we're going to see a pass here very soon.
You got to think he's going to try and do something, especially since he knows he's quicker here. Yeah, he's going to try to send it in the inside, but isn't close enough down into Sterling. Instead, gets the exit. Will he be able to use that extra speed? There's the overlap. Stack doesn't defend. He leaves it open. I think he knew the writing was on the wall. And Kelly's pass could be another over-under from Stack. Nope, the door has been shut.
Yeah, Kelly's setting that one up just right, although seems to have lost a little bit of speed while Jason Smith pulls the fastest lap of the race at a 32.8. But can Kelly close this up? Looks like Stack was tired of being beat on, saw how fast that Kelly was able to catch up to him, wants Kelly to go catch Wall so they can both get around. That's what I would do in this situation. If I knew I had somebody on my tail who was a little bit faster and all I was doing was slowing him down and I'm losing ground to the car in front of me, let's go get them together. You lead the way.
Yep, so Jordan Kelly trying to chase on Simon Wall for at least 4th. Not sure that he'll be able to see a podium here today. We're down to 6 minutes left to go, and Smith looks like he's got the legs on Kelly at this stage, and I don't think there's enough in it to try and catch up to the number 2, who would be his next likely driver that he could take that podium finish from. So we ride on board with Kelly, or excuse me, no, this is with Walsh here at the back of this group.
He snuck up there.
Stack.
He really snuck in there. He came out of nowhere. This little trio of Audis was fighting, and I don't know. I didn't see Walsh close back up, and all of a sudden, wow, there he is. He's trying to put a little bit of a Honda pepper onto this battle.
Indeed, and you could see just how easily these cars can make that little bit of contact through some of these quicker corners. Onto the main straight once again. He fell back enough that no longer is he threatening on Stack. Oh, but in front of them, definitely threatening Wall. You've got Jordan Kelly starting to look side to side.
Yeah, and this is a tough position for Kelly to be in. Wall is having a little bit of connection issue here. Every once in a while you see him blink away and then come back, blink away and come back. You really do not want to be close to that cars when they are doing that because you don't know what's going to happen. I've actually had one disappear and then go into braking zone, and we were overlapped. iRacing allowed us to be overlapped, so I am sitting halfway in the other car, and it's a little bit weird. As soon as you come apart, though, it's back to metal to metal.
Also, Niall Doherty only has 7/10 over Jason Smith now. The 5 car is there, but we saw how difficult it is to try and overtake here. Smith could not manage to get by Kelly last time, despite looking slightly faster towards the end of the race. Meanwhile, speaking of Kelly, still just filling the mirrors of the number 8 machine. Really have a go at it coming down into Sterling. It seems to be a place where he's quite quick. No, but coming off of it, no, still nothing. He's going to have to sit back there in 5th for another couple corners.
Yeah, but he's setting himself up. Look how much he closes up under braking there, then gets back to power. They are not, there's nothing between them coming off the corner. Everything gets made up in braking. Covering the inside there, though, looking towards the outside. Can Kelly get? He's got overlap coming into turn 1, and that is passed, done, and dusted.
Nicely done from Kelly. Quite the recovery to get up to 4th in this race, but he's got to hold on to it from here as there is some contact once again between Stack and Walsh behind them. So that battle not done. Let's go to Doherty and Smith, though, because Smith is actually already looking to the inside, coming down into Surtees, and he is ahead, just pushes himself in front and slams the door shut.
Yeah, nicely done. Beautifully set up. Set that up over about 3 laps. But now look at this. It's time to fight back. Looking towards the outside. Doherty is not going to let this go unchecked. Wants to set up on the outside. Maybe an over-under, get the nose in there. Nope, going to pull it back just a little bit. There is an opportunity later. We still have about 3 minutes left in this race. So as long as he can stick right here, right on his tail, he has an opportunity to fight back because now he has the draft.
Absolutely. And that is bad news for Jordan Kelly, who really needs to hurry and catch up by 4 seconds with only 3 minutes left to go. So we're looking at, looks like 2 laps to go at the line. Yeah, as Doherty just crosses now. Smith, 6.7 seconds back. As fast as that 5 car is, I don't think he's that fast.
Yeah, he's going to need to have some kind of mistake happen, but also looking for a mistake. Jordan Kelly back in 4th place. Still got a big jump to get up there. He has closed it down, though. He is under 4 seconds. When he made the pass to get into 4th position, he was over 4 seconds, about 4.5. Now he's down to about 3.5 seconds. This fight between Niall and Jason is absolutely coming into Kelly's hands.
Some of the drivers who had some issues last race having some great comebacks themselves. Evan Walsh, who started from 16th in this last one of the evening, is up 9 spots into 7th and still sizing up Tony Stack, as we've covered previously, but not able to make the pass quite yet. So will the Civic eventually be able to overtake the Audi here? Is this as high as he goes?
Hard to say, man. This is quite the battle. These guys are all really putting on a good battle. Not a lot of time left to make it happen, though. These guys need to have something in their pocket to pull out here on this last lap.
Well, that was a pretty good run, but not good enough. Thought he was taking a look coming up to Sheens and is going to stay put. Could try and dive it in down into Sterling. Also not worthy of the attack this time for him, but up in front of them, Ronan Doherty taking the white flag. Started from 6th position and now sizes up the chance to finish on a high.
Yeah, definitely. Look at him moving through turn 1 there. Oh no, what is that? Who's gone to the pits?
Jordan Kelly in pit lane. Black flag, I believe, for too many incident points. Yeah,
that's a heartbreaker.
There goes the drive-through. He's back out, and championship definitely over for Jordan. He's not going to be able to get it.
Oh boy.
And what happened here? Was that Stack and Walsh? It was.
Yeah, it looked like Stack and Walsh trying to go at it. Walsh not content with taking the place from Kelly, with Kelly's run through the pits there. Just wants to get the nose under. I can tell you, trying to drive that. Oh, did he make it around there? He's on the inside. He has been able to put that Honda through. The Honda is so difficult to drive in comparison to the other cars. It's really good. It's pretty good at everything, really good at nothing, where you have the beautiful launches from that Audi and the gearing being set up for those mid-level corners. The Honda just kind of good at everything, but not really good at any particular thing. That's a beautiful job to be able to put that car through. He is up into P5 now.
Really tried to shove his way through. It took 2 tries, but that's all it took, and now he is past. But now he's got to play defense for a little bit, as Ronan Doherty doesn't need to defend from anybody. Look at how far clear he is. 6-second gap to take the victory in the final race of the season for the RTA British Touring Car Championship. Smith is going to be able to get second, and by our estimations, that is the championship for the 5-car. Niall Doherty, making it a 1-3 for the Dohertys. And contact there. Who's going to be first across the line? And looks like Walsh beat Stack on that one.
Oh, wow. That one's got to go into the highlight reel, because wow, what a finish. That was the same thing that happened earlier with getting those wheels outside onto the grass as you're coming through that final corner, trying to come through Clark. If you touch the grass there, it really just holds onto you and does not let you bring the car back on, and you're kind of stuck. And unfortunately, that's sort of one of the things that happens.
And that is the last of our cars across the line, as Wayne Douglas is going to wind up finishing 14th. Bit of a bad end to his races tonight. We're going to come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch. We just watched the season finale for the RTA Virtual Motorsports British Touring Car Championship. And up at the top of it, Ronan Doherty takes the win, but Jason Smith, from what we can tell unofficially, is the champion. Niall Doherty was third, exactly where Doherty started this race, and winds up on the podium. Simon Wall was fourth from 11th. Evan Walsh, fifth place from 16th. Tony Stack got into him a little bit there at the line, and the two crashed across the finish line. Adam Dowling was seventh after starting on the front row, just could not hold on to it, and Farrell was eighth. And Jordan Kelly settling for ninth in the end with a late penalty due to incident limits. John McDonald rounds out your top 10.
Looking at P11, Peter McCann, beautiful drive early on, followed by Andrew Murphy, Marek Leolius, and Wayne Douglas. And then, I'm going to get it right this time, Vladimir Stjeskal. I think that was close. Then Keith McClary, Jan Mild, and Emma Dempsey fill out the top 18.
And it looks like we've got Ronan Doherty, who has taken the win. He was waiting to get to talk to us, but our interviews went a little long after that second race. And I felt kind of bad that we didn't get to chat to him after he took that third place. But Ronan, despite not getting to talk to you, I think you've made up for it by an excellent victory here today. How does it feel to close on a high like that?
Yeah, it feels good to close on a high, of course. Obviously, disappointed that I didn't secure the championship, but congratulations to Jason. He drove great all season, and Jordan did too.
We're trying to get the points pulled up, get in official order, but we believe Jason did take the championship in the end. Does that make the first two races a little frustrating since you couldn't seem to quite get the speed those two had?
Yeah, I don't know. My pace is just wasn't there in the first two races, and ironically enough, I had my best pace in the third race when I probably really didn't need it. But yeah, look, that's the way it goes. And fair play to Jason. He was mega fast at this track.
Certainly was, but you were no slouch there at the end. However, we're making quite the transition from these TCR touring cars to the IR04, the sort of beginner's formula car here on iRacing. Are you looking forward to competing in that?
Yeah, I love single seaters. So does Jason as well, and Jordan. A lot of the guys are super quick in single seaters. I'm looking forward to driving the car. I've done a few laps, but that was a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I need to get my practice on now.
Well, a victory and a podium and a fourth place, not too bad to close things off. Anybody that you have to thank for that?
Yeah, of course. I've got to thank Rob Parks, Andrew Murphy, Peter McCann, everyone that's involved in running the championship. It's a fantastic championship, and it's ultra competitive and also lots of fun too. So if anyone wants to get involved, I definitely recommend it. And also a thanks to Ronan Hederman, and he knows why I'm thanking him.
All right, and that was our winner of the last race of tonight, Ronan Doherty in the 29 machine, as Michael has caught up with our second place finisher and, by our estimations, the champion.
Well, Jason, it looks like, by our calculations, of course unofficial, that you have taken the championship. How do you feel?
Oh, it's over the moon just to get that over the line. So.
Yeah, that was quite a battle there. So you started off in 7th after 2nd in the last race that made you start in the 7th due to the reverse grid. Nice fight through the field. Did this work out the way you thought? Did you think you had any chance on getting first with him so far out there? Or obviously 2nd was good enough, so you just decided to sit it in 2nd? What was the thought there?
Yeah, I was just nervous on the first lap coming through because I knew I could have been a bit hairy going down the inside of people and that, and it was really tight, and I managed through that. And then towards the end, battling for second, me and Adam had it coming together. I don't know what happened, but it was just they'll come together, and my heart was in my mouth then when I was sideways across the track, and then I just tried to carry on and just replace it, get up to second place and just take championship.
So brilliant driving, by the way, keeping it out of the wall when you came through there. My heart was just in my throat on that one when I watched it, and then you pulled it out. So next season looks like we're moving to the IR04. Do you think you're going to be able to be such a brilliant drift driver in the IR04, or is it going to be a completely new challenge for you?
No, I much prefer the single seaters. That's really what I'm into. So hopefully I'll be quick in that. I know Ronan and Jordan and a lot of the other lads are very quick. The whole championship is just very competitive, so it's going to be a hard one.
Yeah, I got to say, it's been an absolute joy watching throughout the entire field. It didn't matter if it was for first place, the podium, 10th place, 18th place. The racing through the field has been fantastic. So it's been an absolute joy calling these races for you guys. But I'm sure you've got a lot of people to thank for not only P2 in this race, but winning the championship.
Yeah, just thanks to the lads at RTA and like Andrew and Rob just for setting up the championship and just making a great championship, very competitive all throughout. So.
Well, nicely done. Pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for being here with us, and thanks for putting on such a great show. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Joe.
Thanks very much.
And we've got our third place finisher, Niall Doherty, which is actually Sean McClements, it looks like here. So we're going to be talking to the number 2 driver about that race. A bit of a lonely one, it seemed, by the end, as you started in third, you finished in third, and after Jason got by, it looked like it was just trying to get to the end.
Yeah, after Jason got by the second time, I just sort of try to keep it between the, on the black stuff, like, just to get over the line to finish third, like. You have to give it to Jason, but he's very, very quick, like. Running 2, both unbelievable drivers.
It looked like you didn't quite have the pace in those first 2 races, but by the third one, you were really holding your own. Do you attribute that more to others running into problems, or did you feel like you kind of were figuring out more and more as the races went on?
Yeah, more and more as the races went on, I sort of started to find a wee bit more pace and stuff, and like this track's very hard to overtake, so whenever I was behind people, it was hard to get by them, so like the last race, whenever I was on my own, I could definitely see a difference in my pace.
Well, excellent stuff, and glad to see that you were rewarded with the chance to spray the champagne. We were talking to some of the other drivers about the transition over to the open wheelers. Are you looking forward to the IR04?
Yeah, we done a practice server there a couple of weeks ago, and the cars themselves just unbelievable to drive, just handle very, very well. I'll be very close as well for championship and stuff, so I'm excited for it.
Well, that was Niall Doherty / Sean McClements, depending on who you ask, who finished in third here today. And finally, it looks like we're going to be talking to Robbie Parks, who is the series organizer, as we also get a glance, we believe, at the official points. Michael has caught up with Robbie.
So, Robbie, taking a look at the driver standings, it seems like Jason Smith has it by about 13 points over Ronan Doherty. Jordan Kelly was 27 points back. Brilliant drives all around. Wonderful series. The racing here is just wow. It blows my mind every time I watch. These guys know how to race each other.
Yeah, you and me both. It blows my mind every week when we come and I watch these guys race. It's just phenomenal. And for the results to be that close at the end of a season this long, we've had 8 rounds with 3 races each night. Like, it's just incredible that it could even be that close and come right down to the last race. So there's a big hats off to the guys. They've just done a phenomenal job racing all year.
So do you attribute it to your brilliance in recruiting people, or is it something else?
No, I don't think I could take any credit for it, to be honest. We just put the races and we try. I mean, the guys, we just have a serious amount of talent in the league. The whole way through the grid, we've had so many people that have come in and have been new to sim racing. What's really great to see is the likes of Jason and Ronan and Jordan Kelly and the others and Sean Clemens. They've all helped new guys to come up and build their way up towards the front as well. Like Niall Doherty, who finished third, I believe, in the last race. This is his first season of any sort of competitive racing on iRacing, and it's thanks to the likes of Jordan and the other quick guys who have helped him out along the way. There's a great community spirit there, which is really good.
Well, that's fantastic. It makes me want to move to the UK so I can be in the right time zone to race with you guys. Beautifully done throughout the whole season. Honestly, I really do enjoy the racing with this series, and looking very much forward to doing more of these broadcasts for you guys.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you guys on board again to give us live coverage of the first and last round of the new Formula RTA Championship. That's starting in 2 weeks' time, and a big thanks to you guys for your help all this season with the races that were live streamed. It's been absolutely fantastic.
So, quick thoughts on the IR04. How do you think the field's going to play out?
To be honest, I think it's going to be even closer than these cars, which is probably a bit of a bold statement to make considering how close these were. But from what we've seen so far in a couple of test sessions we've ran with a few guys throughout the grid, it's been unbelievably close, and we're running lock setup again, a very similar format, so it's really just going to come down to driver skill.
Well, Once again, thank you very much, Robbie. Enjoy the mild break that you have between now and the Formula Series. But with that, I got to hand it back to Joe.
That's going to close us up. That was a fun one to watch today. I love seeing to get these cars, and I can't wait to see what those IR04s have in store for us. But a big thank you goes out to the RTA series for bringing us back for another few races of coverage, and can't wait for the next season of races of coverage. And thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast that we've listed on our screen. Additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more of her great work. And thanks to the team today, Michael, Zach, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media we've got listed here. And make sure to check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storenv.com. We keep a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. As was mentioned, the next race will be with the Formula RTA series instead, and that'll be at Road America on Tuesday, June 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Up next this evening, the PRL Multi-Class Series goes to Interlagos and Monza. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.